Well, good morning. At least it is here. And sorry about that real serious video yesterday. It's kind of hard to discuss death without it being pretty serious. I mean, pretty much serious as a heart attack, right? So today I'm not going to be talking about that. And I did get my coffee. My aunt made that cup. My cousin, I mean. Wow, I don't know where to start. It's early here. I've just looked over the news. I suggest you go to Global Rapture Watchers and check out Chris Estep and look at what he's got to say because he's been looking over a whole lot of things I don't have access to, or I don't know where he's looking, but he's gotten a lot of news just since last night, or since the last time I looked at things. And of course, I think we all know that we're kind of headed to a turning point at the Strait of Hormuz, and things are just not going to really get any better there until they get a whole lot worse, and even then they may not get better because infrastructure is going down. We have lots of oil wells being attacked all over the place. Oil wells, I say oil wells, refineries in different countries, bombed, sabotaged, and a lot of times they'll say it's an accident. And this is happening in many countries all over the whole world. So there's definitely a controlled implosion going on here, whether you choose to, it's hard to see it that way, but when you look at the big picture, why would they be sabotaging oil refineries all over the country, all over other countries, all over the world? And we have, from what I understand from Chris's channel, we have a lot of information coming in about there's increased communication across some of the secret channels that we don't generally get that much activity over. I think we can monitor the activity, we just can't monitor the messages. So tons and tons of assets have been flown over. Of course, today is the day, I think, when Trump's ultimatum ends. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that the tie with dreams and visions and all this stuff, because if you read Luke 21, Matthew 24, where it talks about, see, there will be wars and rumors of wars, see that you be not troubled. I keep tying those two together because it says, see that you be not troubled, with the caveat, if you are a follower of Christ. If you're not a follower of Christ, you might want to bend over and kiss your rear end goodbye. I'm serious. If you're a follower of Christ, then we really don't have anything to seriously worry about. But what I want to point out is something I haven't heard anybody else point out yet. And it depends on how serious you take dreams and visions. The Bible clearly talks about in both the Old and the New Testament that God gives people dreams and visions. And that in the last days, actually in Joel and in Acts, it talks about dreams and visions increasing in the last days, or it'll happen in the last days. Well, if this isn't the last days, I don't know what is. So we're here, and we have numerous people. We have channels that are dedicated to, like Uplifted and Cloud9. They actually put one of my dreams up there at one point, and so they are getting this out there because they want people to know that there is a lot of this going on. And as it relates to war, if you look at what's going on with these dreams and visions, a lot of them, I'd say a lot of them, have to do with people dreaming about attacks and war. And now I'm talking specifically about Americans, but I think it's going to be all over. There's going to be, chaos everywhere. But in America, there are lots of people who've had dreams. And, people think that we're invincible over here and that we can't be attacked and that there's no chance that anything's ever going to happen over here. I beg to differ with you. And so if you tie these dreams and visions together, first let's just ask why we are given dreams and visions. Like I said, I've been given dreams. Never had a vision. I've had dreams. And many of them pointed to things like the apostate church. They point to the end times. They point to endings and beginnings and things like that so that I can better ascertain where we are. And I think that if a lot of people who call themselves watchmen, who are watching what's going on right now, have realized, well, I started putting videos up on this about how close I think we are 6, 7 months ago. So I mean, yeah, I'm relatively new compared to some channels who've been at this for 20 years. But this is getting to be major. And if we include the dreams into this, the dreams of people who are, saying that they see, essentially, I'm just going to make it try to say it in a way that makes it pretty straightforward, which is they see the bombs come down and we go up. So it's going to be kind of like that. It sounds like, according Chris Estep had dreams. He talks about it in this last video. So check out Global Rapture Watchers. Just check out what he says about his dream. He was one of those people that didn't even think about the rapture, and he had a dream, and that opened his eyes. But there was war, there was a loss of power when we went up. So according to him, at least in the dream he had, there was a loss of power. And so, I would say maybe you might want to prepare for that in some way. Obviously, if it's not hot or too cold, you can get by with a candle. You don't have to have electricity, although it's nice to have it. I've made some basic preparation, for that kind of thing. So I think that we are, China has just made a threat to the U.S. And when China makes threats, that China doesn't talk that much, but when they talk, you better listen, because they've said, do not, it was the same thing that happened with Japan, when they felt we threatened their national sovereignty. Of course, they bombed us first, but back to China, that whole thing is getting to be very, very, that was my light just went off. That whole thing gets to be very, they've been involved for a long time. They've been helping out with satellite images over in Iran. They've been doing all this stuff to help out. And so it's just escalating. I think we can see it's escalating. I was checking worldwide yesterday that there's all these countries who are running out of jet fuel within weeks or even less. A lot of flights have already been grounded. Many countries over in Europe are reliant on this Middle Eastern oil, but that's actually going to be the least of our problems. But it's kind of looking like a C-type thing coming up on us, a squeeze that way, because if you can't put fuel in your car and you can't fly, what can you do? Things are going to be, I think, transportation, I think communication. I would not be surprised if you didn't just lose our internet. I mean, there was talk of Iran trying to cut the main internet cable going across the ocean, and just things like that, which would not surprise me. They're not. Yeah, in terms of militaries and strength, the U.S. far surpasses them. But they have, friends in high places, so to speak. And then there's the whole other tensions over in the Ukraine that continue, and all the rhetoric that's going on in Europe in regard to that. Neither side. I don't side with Russia, but I do think that it's kind of foolish to try to go to war with a country when you're not ready to go to war. So this all is just adding up. And they're going after your power. They're going after your food. They're going after your transportation, which is indirectly going after you. And it's happening all over the world. And so we are at a precipice, whether you realize it or not. And so I think we're in the last, and if another week goes by and nothing serious happens, people are just going to nod all this off. But I'm telling you, we could be within months of it. I mean, the way things are right now, if a person was given 3 months to live, I would think that there's a very realistic expectation that you might live till you might still see the Lord come before you die. I don't think we're going to get out of 2026. If we do, I'll be very surprised. I just don't see how this can continue. We've got large superpowers wielding huge weapons. You know, we're worried right now about a little bit about gas, which is concerning to many countries. There are lines, you know, for fuel and all that. But that's going to be the least of our worries here if this other thing pops off, which I think, according to the dreams and visions, it will. So this has been Tim. Till next time, let me know what you think about all this. Like and follow. Thank you.